Welcome to Me Podcast You Listen, and we're on the horn right now, and we got our special guest, the Ramrock, and we're here to discuss the Royal Rumble here on our special Royal Rumble recap show. So, the German Dread, the Ramrock, welcome, sir.
Thank you so much again for having me on the show. Always love being on here, love talking wrestling, especially love talking the Royal Rumble. It's going to be an interesting conversation tonight, that's for sure.
Definitely. Notable, conspicuous by his absence is our usual co-host, Coach JC. He is indisposed for just this segment, of course, but we're going to, me and the Ramrock, myself, MC Brown, are going to talk Royal Rumble. We both watched the entire show, and we'll just kind of give our thoughts and run down the card. We'll finish with the final two Rumbles at the end, so we'll run down the card, no particular order, because obviously the women's was the second one on the card, but we'll give our thoughts on these matches. So without further ado, you ready, Ramrock?
Absolutely, and I just want to wish Jamie all the best, and I can't wait to talk with him again very soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so we'll go with kind of the less notable match. We'll start, get your thoughts on the mixed tag team match with Edge and Beth Phoenix versus The Miz and Maurice. What did you think of that one?
The match was actually a lot better than I anticipated. I actually kind of felt bad for them because they booked it like, what was it? It was like right after the world title match or something. Like, how in the world are you going to follow that? Like, it was a terrible spot for them to be in. But, for Maurice being out of action as long as she did and to bust out that Hurricane Rana, I was actually pretty impressed. The match was actually pretty good. So, surprising the Edge won, It was the grit couple versus the it couple is what they called it as.
The grit versus the it.
I thought that the it couple was going to win this one, but the grit couple came out ahead. Good match, honestly. Surprisingly good.
Yeah, there was some spots where, good near falls where you thought, okay, maybe they're going to keep this feud going. And but then you think about how much that probably means for Edge and Beth Phoenix to be their first time tagging WWE ring together. And then I thought about that portion. Well, yeah, even though they kind of got a little bit of a one-up on them before, I felt like it could have go either way at one point, and that's all you can ask for going into a pay-per-view match like that.
Yep, absolutely. No, solid match. Feel bad for them. They were put in a tough position on the card.
Yeah, I think, and obviously we're going out of order, of course, but they were in between the title match of on the Raw side with because it was the Lesnar, and we'll talk about that obviously. But the Lesnar Lashley was right before that, and that had the shock of that finish. And then I think they kind of left that in there because I think if they could shave some time, they were thinking they'd shave the time off that tag match. I was thinking.
Most likely, yeah, because the Rumble matches are always so long.
Yeah,
it was a long pay-per-view too. I mean, it was over 3 hours long. That's a long time for wrestling.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, no, I'm with you. It was they worked hard and it was an intense match still, and it was good to see Edge and Beth. I'm a big fan of Beth. I think she still looks great. I think just as a genuine person, I always liked her, and the fact that she's came back.
She's incredibly underrated, extremely strong. I mean, absolutely. That was phenomenal in the ring. Has a good mind for the business. Yeah, it was definitely good to see her back. Plus, she actually stole my wife's haircut. Sarah was rocking that mohawk long before Beth Phoenix did, so that was one of the first things that I noticed.
Yeah, she's kind of punked out for her association with Edge, so yeah. That is pretty cool. Yeah, big props to her. It was good to see her back.
Definitely.
So we'll jump right back in. The ladies' title match, which had the Raw Championship, Becky Lynch versus Doudrop. What were your thoughts on that one?
So, again, pleasantly surprised. Wow. Even Becky Lynch, after the match, said, she has got a newfound respect for Doudrop. And I believe Doudrop also said the same thing about Becky Lynch. Those girls tore the house down. Holy crap. It was stiff. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but when Doudrop hit that rolling senton in the corner, it looked like she crushed Becky Lynch. I mean, Becky disappeared. That's a big girl, man. So
yeah,
I can't imagine how that spot was soft at all.
Yeah,
and Becky took it like a champ.
Yeah, definitely. There was a couple spots where I wasn't sure if she had her bell rung, and maybe she did, Doudrop, but it was good to see that, it didn't get stopped prematurely and such. It's just, I think that one suffered from not a whole lot of time build up for Doudrop. She just basically the opponent that Becky hadn't faced yet, because I know on Raw her opponents are very thin at this point as far as top-notch competitors she hasn't faced and beat. So the tough thing is they were trying to make a build, and they did they did what they could in the time, trying to follow Raw as much as I can, especially into WrestleMania season. The problem was the predictability. The predictability factor. I don't think you'd find anybody who thought Doudrop was going to win, so that kind of takes the wind out of that match's sail a little bit, even though they work really hard, like you said.
They did, and to give those girls even more credit, I mean, the WrestleMania sign literally caught on fire in the middle of their match, and they had to evacuate an entire section
that is true.
of the fans.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that is true. I think it was you that was asking me about that, right? Like what's going on the side of the... Yeah.
We were literally live texting each other during the show. I'm like, what's going on? Like, everyone's looking, and the camera's zooming in on the wrestlers, and they're not paying to the crowd, but you can clearly see all the crowd is staring. They're not watching the match. Like, I felt really bad for the girls, and then later on, the WrestleMania sign's on fire.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I caught a picture of that when they were like hosing it down or something, and yeah, that's true. That doesn't help when you're trying to have a match and a sign catches on fire.
Yeah, and as a competitor, when you're in there and there's like distractions going on and you have to stay in character and you have to it's very difficult. And those girls did a phenomenal job. Kudos to both Becky and Doudrop.
Definitely, all things considered, for sure.
Also, the finish was really good. What does Becky call it? It's a rock bottom, but she rock bottomed Doudrop off the second rope, which is freaking awesome.
I think it's the urinage they call that before it was renamed the rock bottom. Yeah, no, it was good.
Hers like the man drop or so. I don't know.
Oh yeah. They should call it the Beck bottom or whatever. But
Yeah.
But you're probably right. That was good finish. I agree. Yeah. So we'll go to the opening contest, which was it's the third match we're running down here, which was a little different and cool. They started with Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, and there was a little harken back there. What'd you think about that? With the
So this, in my opinion, was the match of the night, hands down.
Interesting.
The story, like, watching this match, I've never been a real big Seth Rollins fan, to be completely honest with you. During the Shield days, I always felt that he was going to be the one that was going to be cut, that he would be the one that wasn't going to be used. Yeah. Was I completely wrong about that? He was the very first one to stand out from that group, and I'm pretty sure he was the first one to become a world champion. So definitely was wrong about that. And but back to this match, they told an incredible story. The whole thing about Roman Reigns never forgiving Seth Rollins for breaking up the Shield and even dropping Mox's name in this. And the story that they told out there of, like, these were two really tight brothers, and now everything's finally culminating, and Roman Reigns has never beaten Seth Rollins, when it counts, basically. And, like, it was really surprising also to see Seth kind of dominate Roman Reigns when Roman has been dominant for 2 years. I mean, his match against John Cena at SummerSlam was more or less a squash match, if we're being completely honest. Basically just squashed him, and that's John Cena we're talking about. Yeah. So to see Seth Rollins, like, just dominate the whole beginning of the match, and then, and look like he's got Roman Reigns on the ropes it was incredible storytelling. And then for Roman Reigns to just basically just snap and say, screw it, I don't care. I'm choking you out. I don't care if I lose by DQ. I'm keeping my title. I just want to hurt you. I freaking hate you now. Like, awesome finish. Love the match, 100%. That was definitely, in my opinion, the match of the night.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's definitely story of the night for sure. I think what went down, this one definitely had the benefit of the long history to build up. I think you have Heyman's fingerprints on it, but apparently, I mean, we have the benefit of now, a couple days removed, a few days removed from it, and start to hear some of the news pile up. So apparently the finish was changed a couple times at least, or 2 or 3 times on this match. So
I read that as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably, I like it. I liked how it did because I know they tried to do the imagery mirroring Seth's exact positioning and how he hit him with the chair in the back. But I think without the now that we know that Seth's in the Elimination Chamber, I'm assuming maybe Roman might not be going to Jeddah for Elimination Chamber, so maybe they can't follow it up at that pay-per-view. Maybe it will be followed up in between. There's one more pay-per-view I know in March now that's going to be in between the Elimination Chamber, and I can't remember if that's Fastlane or whatnot, or what used to be called Fastlane. But yeah, definitely the follow-up has got to be postponed because they're on different brands, but there's definitely a unfinished story that we're going to need to see for this one. But it was well played out. They did a good job.
Completely agreed, and I'm definitely looking forward to the rematch. Going into this match, I wasn't too looking forward to it. Afterwards, I'm really excited. I can't wait to see those guys go at it again.
Yeah, definitely.
It was just one more really quick thing about, how do you make Roman Reigns look weak when he's been so dominant, and they were able to do that. They were able to make it look like, oh man, there's Seth Rollins is a credible threat. He's in Roman's head. Phenomenal storytelling. That's what wrestling's all about.
Yeah, he had the mind games, and I like the flashback to old Shield gear Seth because I'm not really a fan of the It's like he's doing an extension of Becky's gimmick with the loud suits and jackets. Obviously she's probably had her hand in helping him stand out and the cackling. I'm not sure if this is my favorite version of him. Yeah,
the Ramrock is not a fan of Seth Freakin Rollins.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I'll give credit where credit is due, but I'm not feeling this new gimmick.
No, not my favorite version of him, but I liked how they went back to the Shield one as he just furthered his mind games with Roman, and yeah, definitely 100% agree with you. Best story of the night for sure. The incomplete nature maybe would make it the favorite match, but would definitely. Yeah, I can't argue with you there for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think we got one more to cover before we get to the Rumbles themselves, and that would take us to the first time encounter of Bobby Lashley with MVP versus Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. There was a little twist in there, and it was stuff I've heard from on lines and rumbling and stuff, and it did play out. What did you think when you watched this match?
So, I'm going to kind of work backwards here.
Okay.
I have to give you credit where credit is due. If all the listeners listen to our pre-show predictions, MC Brown was right on the money with this match. I was like, that was literally my first thought at the ending of this match. I said, holy crap, this is you called it exactly, and it went down exactly as you called it. So kudos to you, man. I hope you made some cash off that.
Yeah, not much. The DraftKings things don't pay too well. It's a lot of ties on it, but I actually, and for my credit, because I don't know how many people will be listening to this, obviously, but there's, I listen a lot to the Conan and Keeping It 100 show. They got a guest, one of their reporters, Bill Body. He's really good at predicting that stuff, and he needs his props too, because I think he was calling the Ronda thing, but we didn't know how that was going to play out, as we'll talk about in the next one. But he had mentioned that possibly happening at day one, but because of the Brock thing, or the Roman being, with the illness, with the COVID thing, he didn't wrestle. So basically, I think he was still kind of touting that could come, that was still going to play out. So I got to give him props too for that's where I heard it from, and I felt that was, even though that was kind of far out prediction, I stuck by the guns and felt like that was going to happen, and It definitely.
It's a good thing you stuck by your guns. You were absolutely correct in it. When we were talking about it, I thought to myself, "There's no way they're going to let Brock drop the belt after just having it a month and right before WrestleMania. There's no way that they." But it happened.
Well,
anyways, the match was awesome.
Yeah.
To me, the match didn't disappoint. My only complaint with this match was I wanted to see more Bobby Lashley offense.
Yeah.
At first it was, you had exactly what everybody wanted. The two bulls going at it, neither one backing down. Bobby showing no fear. Bobby, by the way, is probably one of my favorite wrestlers. When he first came on the scene, I wasn't a big fan. Completely turned around. The man is phenomenal. I love Bobby Lashley. What a great match. Once we started getting into Suplex City, I was like, okay, now we're kind of getting into, the slow Brock Lesnar stuff. I really wanted to see more of those two guys just trashing each other the whole time. And we got a little bit of that in the beginning, but then, of course, Brock Lesnar took over.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the inevitable happened. Here comes the interference with Roman Reigns. After, of course, we get the ref bump,
yep.
F5. Ref goes down. Brock's got the match won. Here comes Roman Reigns, and the craziest thing of all is he literally reaches out to Paul Heyman for that belt, and Paul Heyman just hands it to him willingly. Like that, I was like, holy shit. MC Brown called it. It's going to happen. Boom. Drills Lesnar in the head with the belt. Bobby gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. New WWE champion. Didn't see that coming. Honestly, didn't see that coming. Phenomenal match.
No, and yeah, I agree. Just at that beginning, how intense that was at the beginning, and their exchanges with the German, and then he, shakes it off, and he's right back at him. Then Bobby gets the offense in, and yeah, just good stuff. It whets your appetite. Yeah, whets your appetite for more, for sure.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see those two go at it again. And did you see how hard they were landing on their necks with those Germans?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was dangerous. Like, I almost thought he really hurt Bobby, for real. Like, with a few of those.
Yeah, I know Lashley had a busted lip at the end when he was celebrating, if you remember that, at the end. And he's slapping hands. It was weird how he celebrated. Obviously, clearly only won with the help of Roman Reigns, but he's slapping hands with the fans. And, definitely didn't play out like I had heard from the rumors that, like, Lashley would be mad at how he won, so they kept it, to the point where he was happy and still with MVP, because I don't want to see him split from MVP anyway, so I feel like that's a great pairing. And yeah, the Heyman turn was probably going to happen at day one. I think it just kind of got postponed, and yeah, the one good thing is following, and as we'll talk about what happens with Brock and in the men's Rumble, is the good thing that there is a follow up to this. So we know that the Elimination Chamber is now filled, all the spots are filled, and Brock will actually be trying to win the title back to go in title for title versus Reigns. So it creates some suspense going into Elimination Chamber now.
Which, all the fans listening, if you remember my prediction, I said we were going to have a title versus title match at WrestleMania.
You did.
Still could possibly happen.
Could still happen, and it could be very likely, depending if they want to. The rumors had been going around that they may want to end the brand split, and if that's the case, you got one champion. You need one champion then.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Oh,
champion versus champion. I'm calling it still.
All right, yeah, I know. And yeah, we got some of the stuff you called happen in the men's one when we get to that one. But good match. Definitely intense match, and I'm with you on that. So we got two Rumbles now to cover. We got the ladies' Rumble, which we'll cover, and then we got the men's one. So the ladies, which we'll cover... I'll let you start. What did you think? How'd you feel on this one?
So the ladies' Rumble had all the surprises, right?
Yes.
I mean, we had a lot of familiar faces and a lot of surprises coming back.
Yes.
I thought it was really, really cool to see Molly Holly. I wish she had a bigger spot. It was great to see Ivory in the right to censor gimmick. The best of all was, hands down, Mickie James coming out with the Impact Women's Champion. Holy crap. First time ever, I'm pretty sure in WWE history, where they've allowed an active signed member of another team, of another organization, come on the show, not only come on the show, but wrestle and wear the women's title, and let her have her Impact theme song, and addressed her as the Impact. Like, to me, that was the coolest thing in the world.
And what a pop she got too. It was pretty sweet. Yeah,
pop she got.
Very
Honestly,
cool.
I wanted her to win the whole thing. I thought it'd been like, seriously, like, how cool would it have been for Mickie James to win it, and then Impact Women's Champion versus the WWE Women's Champion at WrestleMania? I mean, holy crap, that would have been phenomenal.
That would have been very cool. Very cool.
I also got to see, my favorite from the 90s, Lita. She came back in this match, had a tremendous showing, did really, really good. She lasted a long time in there. The match was good. The ladies, I think they need to take a little bit of my wife Sarah pointed it out. The ladies need to kind of watch the men's rumble a little bit. Like, there was definitely some times in there where it looked like they were a little lost and not really like trying to get each other out when they should have. But once again, I mean, this is like the fourth women's rumble that there ever has been.
Yeah.
So they'll get it. But all around, I thoroughly enjoyed the women's rumble.
Yeah, to get some facts in there was 14 returns.
Oh, wow.
So almost half the Rumble was filled with returning superstars, going at Melina at number 2, Kelly at 4. I jokingly called her Michelle McUndertaker. She came in at 10.
By the way, she had a phenomenal showing. She was in there forever.
And she got to have that little rival. There was a lot of little rivalry nods, which was really cool. So how they booked this one had a lot of Michelle and Mickey. You had Summer Rae and Natty go at it, and there was just a lot of the Brie and Nikki had a little thing after Nikki eliminated her. She kind of got her revenge on her in this one, so there was a lot of nice little old rivalry nods in there.
Definitely. Oh yeah. And then of course they did the whole Sonya Deville and Feel the Glow girl, Naomi. Sorry.
Yeah, no, they used...
They did their whole rivalry, but, if they're going to keep this going, eventually Sonya's going to have to get a victory over her.
Well, she didn't give her a chance, and it happened, as we'll talk about in the men's one, but she didn't give Naomi her chance to do a little special save, because she basically got her heat back by just pulling her right out, so she couldn't do any type of, it was going to be a clear weird position. She was just had her hands down on the outside of the ring, so she was going to have to do her own pull herself up, and that's kind of how Sonya did. But I like how they incorporated Cameron, who was one of the surprise, and they had kind of used that as part of the story and had Sonya go in there and basically eliminate her to get some heat, from that.
Yeah. Hearing the Funkadactyls theme kind of brought me back a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely. I
was like, holy crap, it's Brodus Clay. Oh, wait, it's the Funkadactyls.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of cool stuff like the Sarah Logan thing. They didn't give really much of a reunion with Liv. I know she didn't last very long, but it was cool to see them kind of in the ring together, and they had a little kind of a smile stare off, with Liv in there. That was nice to see her back too, especially since her husband, is part of the Viking Raiders, is still with the WWE,
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that was really cool. The honestly, the biggest, actually, for me personally, it was a little disappointing. My picks to win the Rumble was going to be, for all the fans that listened to the previous prediction show, I believe I predicted,
Liv,
I believe
right?
I predict, yeah, that's right. But I completely forgot about Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. No, she had a great showing in there.
I found myself rooting for her. I really wanted to see her win, and she did a really good job. So I was bummed to see her get eliminated.
Yeah,
but I was a little disappointed. Don't get me wrong, Ronda Rousey's cool. She came out and she got a massive pop, and she's good for business and all that. Pretty bummed she won the match, though. Gonna be honest with you. Definitely didn't want to see another Charlotte victory, so definitely preferred her winning over Charlotte. But I was really hoping, we'd see like Liv Morgan or Rhea Ripley, somebody different win the Rumble. But
yeah, I think and Bianca obviously won it last year and then went on to face Sasha, but and she lasted a while. She still was an 8. Liv was at 6, and Sasha as Sailor Moon Banks, basically. She started again. I thought she started at 1 or 2 last, than the very first Rumble, maybe she was in 1. So it's, I felt like at least 2 of the 3 of those should have been in the final 4, but I'm with you on the Liv thing. I mean, they all had strong showings. Even Sasha, who probably wasn't in very long because she just came back from injury, so that probably wasn't, when she starts that early, she probably wasn't going to last. But at least all 3 of those did look strong. It's just, when you don't have a Final 4 with... I love when you have the Rumbles with Final 4 and you legitimately really don't know which way they're going to go with them. And I think, clearly once you see Ronda go in there, I think I kind of get what you're going at. It's almost like a given that Ronda's going to win as soon as she comes out,
Basically, yeah, exactly. Like the only credible person was Charlotte Flair, and WWE wasn't going to give her another one of those because it's like, oh, here comes Ronda Rousey. Oh, Charlotte eliminated her. Nobody cares about Ronda Rousey. There's no reason. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like as soon as Ronda came out, it was pretty much a given that that she was going to win.
And that's the problem with that when you do that. It's just like it would have been cool to see her confront Becky or at the end of her match, but I get that. Maybe I had another friend, shout out to my buddy Greg, he's been saying that it's going to be Charlotte and Ronda. That's what he thinks because Fox wants Ronda on that show and with Charlotte. So I mean, it very well could be because she didn't announce it on Raw and she said she'll announce it on SmackDown. But they took Lita and they were putting Lita with who had a great showing, obviously, like you were saying in this match. They put Lita with Becky at the Elimination Chamber, so it is very possible somehow they could do a rematch of that 3-way again and then reunite maybe they make it all titles on the line again. So if there is a unification in both the men's and women's matches, that we very well could see a repeat of that triple threat again.
Yeah, a WrestleMania rematch where those ladies main evented. They were the true main event, the last match on the card. So kudos to them. That was massive. And but like I said, not hating on Ronda, just really wanted somebody else to win that match. Really wanted to see one of the new girls win.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just a side note, I think there was Oksana, Caitlyn, and Jillian there, but not used. So anybody that was hoping to see them, I know there was rumors of a lot of different returns. Neither of those 3 made it in the Rumble, believe it or not.
And no Bayley. I believe that was your pick, and it was a phenomenal pick, a great choice, but very surprising that she wasn't in the Rumble either. Yeah,
I'm hearing that. Thanks for reminding me that I didn't get it right, Rock. But the
you're welcome.
I appreciate it. So no Asuka, no Bayley, no. And I've heard stuff now Bayley might be March return. Asuka might be cleared, but apparently she wasn't spotted there. And her name is escaping me now. The Southern Belle, Lacey Evans.
Oh, yeah, she just had her baby.
Yeah, Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans, uncomfortable Ric Flair storyline.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Uncomfortable child, she hasn't been seen since. So,
yep, exactly.
But look for maybe those 3 on the road to WrestleMania. I would imagine that maybe in the Women's Battle Royal, providing they should have that again, right? At
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So look for them maybe to return there. But, so let's get into the final one, Rock, where you had, I remember your pick, which I will remind you of, the Men's Rumble. And lot less surprises in that one. We had a more near the end, but what did you think about that one? You had a good, solid pick in there. Definitely, he did return.
Yep. So my pick to win the Rumble was going to be Drew McIntyre. I mean, I thought, given the predictions, I thought he was literally the only credible person, minus, a surprise entrant, a current active person that was actually strong enough to contend with, Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And honestly, like my heart kind of bleeds for Drew McIntyre because, he did get his WrestleMania main event. It was against Brock Lesnar. He did go over and become the champion, but there was no fans. I mean, it's like here, he here's the Super Bowl ring, but it's made out of brass or whatever. You know what I mean?
You're gonna play the Super Bowl. You're gonna win the championship, but nobody's gonna be in the crowd to see it.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I was really hoping, okay, fans are back. We're getting back into motion. Drew's going to get there. He's going to come in the main event, and he's going to finally get his spot because the dude is just a workhorse. He's a phenomenal athlete. Big fan of Drew Mack. He made it to the last two, so kudos to him. But the men's Royal Rumble was a little disappointing for me, just because, the biggest, they blew all the surprise entrance for the women's Rumble, and there was no surprise entrance at all for the men's Rumble.
No, and we'll run them down real quick. We had Drew, obviously was quasi surprise, but you knew he was coming back. You had picked he was at 21, and then basically you had Bad Bunny at 27, Shane at 28, and then Brock at 30, who was the surprise last entrant, basically running in there. Basically, to make up for his loss to Bobby, he entered in order to get his title shot against, Roman.
Absolutely. And when it comes to pure storytelling, it was genius.
Yeah.
It really was. Here comes Brock Lesnar, number 30 after losing the match, and boom, it was a genius writing move to get to make Brock Lesnar still be that huge monster, because he really is their biggest star if you think about it right now,
He's treated as such.
It was definitely a genius storyline for sure. It's just WrestleMania should almost be retitled, for the last 5 years. It should almost be retitled Brock Lesnar season, because Brock comes back for the road to WrestleMania, and then he leaves it right afterwards. So it should just be called Brock season, because that's, this is when we get to see him the most.
Yeah.
And he's been phenomenal. On the microphone, he's been the best he's ever been. He looks great. He looks like he's happy and having fun.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Exactly. Great point. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. I was he looks like he's having a good time posing with fans for some shots, just looking like he's an actually friendly beast. And most of the time you get that, impression. They always say, well, Brock's not good with people. He doesn't like people. He just wants to go back to his farm and farm, obviously, and be away from people. But he actually looks like he is enjoying the run as a babyface. So it is pretty it's cool to see because it's different,
No, it's different, and he's been so entertaining on the microphone. He was slaying me with his promos, man. He just kept repeating himself, Brock Lesnar, Royal Rumble. It's just simple stuff, but it was hilarious, man. He's been doing phenomenal. So
good stuff.
I like Brock Lesnar. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely felt bad for the Kofi botch that he was trying to get that one, and that was just tough to watch. And he's taken in a good stride, though. He actually posted, and anybody that follows him on social media, he actually had a very cool kind of video of it where he flashed a lot of the hate, so to speak. But he just says, if you don't, if you're not afraid, you can't be afraid or let the hate stop you from trying to make epic moments. And he says he actually laughed at a lot of the people calling it, You know
what? Forget the haters, Kofi. You got the best attitude because every single time he's tried one of those, he's hit it.
Oh, yeah.
He missed it
100%.
one time. So, you know what? Screw the haters. Kofi's the man. Good job, Kofi. Obviously, we all wish you would have hit it, but high risk is called high risk for a reason. It's not just something the announcers call.
Yeah, and if you're attacking the guy who's given us plenty of Royal Rumble moments in the past, a lot of great, incredible, just like you're saying, things where he nailed and he looked incredible doing it. If you're going to jump on there and laugh at him or call him Botchy Kingston or some of the other stupid crap that I've seen in there, and he said he laughed at him, which is cool for him to say that still. But how much of a piece of a crap are you to do that? Come on, man. He already probably feels bad as it is for not doing, the spot like he wanted to and plan it. But, what the hell, man? Just kick a man while he's down? Is that what Twitter has become?
Right, exactly. And it's I'm sorry, if you get if you get 9 out of 10 questions right, that's still an A plus. I mean, that's still an A. You know what I mean?
100%.
So kudos to Kofi Kingston. Love the guy. Love his career. Don't kick the guy when he's down. No. He did a great job.
No, yeah.
He messed up once.
Yeah, if you're doing something like that to him, then you got to check yourself. You know, if there happens to be anybody listening to this that has done that, just like, come on, man. Like, have a little more class and decorum than the man. He knows he messed up. He doesn't need you to remind him or make him feel any more like crap than he probably feels himself. And anybody that watches wrestling knows that stuff could happen. Him, John Morrison, Naomi, as we were talking earlier, they've all done some incredible things in the Royal Rumbles, and it was bound to happen at some point, right, Rock?
Absolutely, and I'm going to take that a step further. Anybody who actually gave him any crap, I want you to go out there and try it.
Right.
If you can go get it right your first try on the fly, in front of 42,000 people plus millions watching you on TV, if you can nail a move that complex under that kind of pressure your first try, then I'll shut up. But chances are you can't do it, so don't give them crap.
100%. This is the perfect opportunity that take all those haters and invite them to like one of those Taj.0 web redemption type of deal, and then let's see them all try to do it, and then let Kofi do it again, because I guarantee you if he has the chance again to do it, he'll do it and nail it.
Oh, he'll nail it. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
While those clowns will probably fly into the crowd, or they probably
break their leg,
hurt themselves. Yeah, obviously, even if you put them in a kiddie ring Royal Rumble, they probably couldn't do the equivalent of it.
Absolutely. But let's talk about the dark horse for a second in this Rumble. Johnny Knoxville.
Yes. What'd you think? How'd he do?
I mean, I'm sorry. Let me compose myself.
Yes.
That's unprofessional. First of all, I love Johnny. I'm a huge Jackass fan. I was dying when he goes in the ring, and then AJ's trying to help him out. But as soon as AJ Styles starts doing his punch kick combo, Johnny just freezes. He's not selling any moves. He's just standing there while AJ's pouring his heart out, doing his punch kick, back elbow. Johnny doesn't know how to sell any of it.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard if AJ just had to stiff clothesline him because he's not doing it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's he's gonna get what he deserves at that point, 100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Like you could tell AJ was trying to talk to him, hey, okay, man, cool, get your thing in. All right, we're gonna do the spot. He just froze. He didn't sell a single move.
Yeah, man. You better sell my shit, dude. Otherwise, I'm gonna clothesline you for real.
Right, and you could tell. I mean, if you rewind and watch that, he really clotheslines his ass down because he didn't sell anything. So he's well, if he's gonna take a bump, I'm gonna have to force him to take a bump, and he did.
That's what happens. Yeah, you're gonna eat it for real, man. That's what's gonna happen if you don't know the game, man. You shouldn't be playing it.
And that's exactly it. You know what? Johnny Knoxville, all the credit in the world. Love the guy. Probably should have learned how to, sell a move before you went out there.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great. The wrestlers hit his spot. Basically, fuck you, Hollywood guy. You don't belong with us. Sammy got his little, he got his one-ups, tossed him over the top rope. Definitely a good spot. Kudos to Johnny for trying.
What'd you think of the Bad Bunny coming in there?
So, let's talk about Bad Bunny. So, I'm not going to hate on Bad Bunny. I'm not a big fan of that style music, but so I'm not a fan of Bad Bunny, but his WrestleMania stuff was really impressive, doing the Canadian Destroyer, looking super athletic, being really clean. I'm not taking anything away from his ability. What bothers me was when you have a rap guy who's been in the ring 2 times. I mean, the guy's been practicing. He's obviously been going to developmental, and he's been practicing. WWE, they're not going to let an untrained guy out there. But the fans, quote-unquote, the fans don't know that, so they've seen this guy in the ring twice. And how bad does it look when you have a hip hop artist out wrestling your wrestlers that are in there all the time. Like, I can't even really say exposing the business, because the business is already exposed and the curtain's drawn back, but to me, that's like really exposing the business. Like Johnny Knoxville went out there and he got his ass kicked. That's probably what you should see.
Yeah.
But when you have a guy, who's not a wrestler, go out there and he's just kicking these wrestlers' asses, I don't think that's a good look. Like, it's fine. Like, he should have gone out there. He should have hit like his Canadian Destroyer. Oh, he got a big, get his spot, get his pop, and then he's fucking dead. So, this guy throws him out, It was cool seeing him and Lesnar stare down, though. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, that was cool. I think they spoiled a lot of the women's surprises, and I know they didn't have very many in the men's one, but like you'd think, okay, he's there because he's got $1 billion, whatever, plus whatever, $4 billion, I don't know, whatever he has, just a normal amount of people following him. So why wouldn't you announce his entry to get all those people watching? Because apparently, if that's what he's there for, to use that influence that he has, well, then you'd want to announce that because you want to get everyone that could have been a potential subscriber to the Peacock or WWE Network to be, or some pay-per-view to watch that, wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely. 200% agreed. Like, he should have been announced, because, if he's this super popular guy, Johnny Knoxville had, 4 segments on SmackDown? They promote the crap out of him coming, because Jackass is a massive following.
Yeah.
So, of course, they want that audience to come and buy memberships to the Peacock so they can come see Johnny Knoxville. Like, you would think they would do the exact same thing, with Bad Bunny, 100%. But,
use him on Raw.
Entrant.
Yeah, I could understand the Shane McMahon surprise. Obviously, you didn't know he was coming back. I don't think I would have made it as big of a difference, but I am kind of baffled. And I know you have Knoxville on SmackDown, but maybe you tease Bad Bunny on Raw. Reunite him with Damian Priest again. But I know they're doing something completely different with Damian Priest. But still, you have him interact, with somebody to grab some of those billion followers that he has and try to get those people to order pay-per-view, for Pete's sake.
That's the whole business, right? Is to make money. You want to convert views into membership buys, so that's 100%. How you do it.
Yeah, definitely. But I felt like that maybe was a drop ball by them. But maybe it's with his appearance, I'm sure if he is on the road to WrestleMania, and if that does occur, or maybe they try to use him on SmackDown, since Fox really wants some big names on the show, that maybe they use him in an angle there, and he'll have another match at WrestleMania. Who knows?
Definitely. So I want to address some rumors here real quick. So okay. I actually read this morning that the original plan. Now apparently. The plans, the finish for the Royal Rumble was changed 17 times. No exaggeration. Apparently it was changed a ton.
Yeah. But
one of the planned finishes, I guess one of the early planned finishes, was for Matt Riddle to win the Rumble.
Oh, wow.
To me, that seems a little hard to believe. Don't get me wrong, Riddle's entertaining. He's over with the crowd. But I just can't see Riddle in a main event against Brock or against Bobby, against Brock, against I can't see that. I can't see that being a credible WrestleMania main event,
I think your logical match is, you have to have this happen at some point, is the Viper turn on him. And you have Randy Orton and Riddle at WrestleMania. There's still plenty enough time to do that between now and then. A match between, logically, if we're just, we know where Brock and Roman is the match now, but logically, if you're trying to go to the Raw main event, I'm not really sure there's enough time to build any type of good rivalry chemistry between Lashley and Riddle between now and WrestleMania. And maybe they will since he is in the Elimination Chamber, he did qualify, but I don't know. I guess I'll be shocked if he's involved in if Brock doesn't win it and you don't get that right. I'd be shocked if he comes out as champion or gets to the final thing and Lashley beats him to set up that match. I don't know. I just don't see it. I feel like you got to have him. You got to have him and Orton.
you have to have him and Orton. You have to break them up first. You know, that's just unless you're like the Legion of Doom or the Howard Foundation, unless you have like an established tag team, and you take two random guys and you put them together and you say now you're a tag team. It's an inevitable storyline that those two are going to break up and fight. So let's have the match. Orton, Riddle, WrestleMania. Sounds like an awesome night one match. Let's do it. You know, hopefully it'll come to that. I don't hate Riddle at all. I think the guy's actually really, really good in the ring. I really enjoyed his NXT stuff. It's hard. It's hard to take him seriously, you know, just because he is so lackadaisical and goofy. Yeah. But when he gets in the ring, he turns it on, man. The dude's clean. He's got some really cool moves. He's goofy. Vince McMahon obviously sees a lot in him, and you know, I definitely look forward to seeing the future of Riddle. I definitely don't think he's ready for a WrestleMania World Championship main event, though.
No, and if that was that close to being an idea, like you're saying, and I believe it because he's in the Elimination Chamber. He does look strong in his matches, to his credit, and I know that's why Vince likes him. I know Vince is legitimately high, obviously, on A-Town Down, as he calls himself, Austin Theory, and he looks strong in this match too, and he's a great young star, and it was good to see AJ look really strong in the Rumble, especially having the job into Omos, and you know, I know he was putting over I think he either lost to Theory or Grayson Waller or something. I know he was working with Grayson Waller of NXT too, but I know he has re-signed at least for 1 year, and they got him in the chamber too, along with Seth, Brock, and Lashley. So it was clear by those things that were happening in the Rumble that there was a clear focus on those guys in there.
Definitely. Yeah, AJ, great showing as always. I don't think AJ Styles is capable of having a bad match. I mean, when you can make Omos look good, that is just kudos to him. I think AJ Styles is the modern day Shawn Michaels. You know, that's probably like the dream match of all time would be if we could have a Shawn Michaels in his prime versus an AJ Styles in his prime. Holy crap, that would be mad.
It was great match with him and Rey Mysterio on Raw for that last I think it was the last qualifying spot that was on there. So yeah, I mean, you need to get back to putting AJ in those major positions because, you know, the guy's like not going to have a lot of years left, but you know, whatever he's got left in that gas tank is going to be high quality, big time matches. Yep. And for him to be tossed out by, I'm sorry, I mean, I know he's a great amateur wrestler and a legit tough guy, Madcap Moss, but basically to be just unceremoniously tossed out by the Happy Duo.
The goofball.
Didn't do any favors, you know, to AJ after lasting that long, and you know, and I know they were building them up to have basically Drew look really strong and getting his revenge on those two clowns too, but it would have been nice to see AJ, you know, last towards the end too, but you know, he would have just been thrown out by Brock, so I guess it really in the end it wasn't going to matter anyways, right?
Exactly. But you know, like that was another thing, like just to kind of wrap it up here, you know, Brock Lesnar obviously was a surprise number 30 entrant. Super cool to see him come out. Final two came down to Brock and Drew McIntyre, right? I was like, holy crap, here we go. We're going to have it. And dude, Brock just dumped him out in like 30 seconds. Like we didn't get to have a boo punch. Like we didn't get to have any spots. It was just, you know, it was just dump. It's over. Brock won.
No,
like,
and they did
was so anticlimactic.
No, and they did that something very similar. They had a couple teases, but it was very quick too with the Ronda and Charlotte. It's like they didn't even whet your appetite for a one-on-one. You know how they had the Undertaker Michaels go at it for a decent amount of time. You know, in the Rumble before.
Basically had like a Raw singles match at the very end of the after wrestling. You know, at the Rumble. Yeah. They basically had like a Raw singles quality match. match.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of it, and that's a little too much. But I definitely wanted to see a little, tease it a little bit, let him have a couple bumps, a couple spots before you just toss the guy out.
Yeah, there was no suspense in there. I mean, I guess when you think about it, I know you had hope for Drew and stuff, but, I knew Brock was winning when I'd seen him. But, I think most people probably figured as much, too, including yourself. But, when you see Ronda and you see Brock, I mean, it was good that they brought him at 28 and 30 because I think as soon as you see them in the Rumble sooner, you're probably killing the suspense, too. And I think maybe that was their logic, thinking, hey, you already know who's going to win anyways. Why even drag this out? And I think that's probably why. But I think the story for us would have been nicer to have that little tease anyways,
Yeah, and you make a good point. I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
But it just kills Drew's momentum. I mean, not that he's really had any momentum. He's feuding with the happy guys, But, it's just I don't know. I guess I sympathize with Drew. I really want to see that guy have his moment.
Well,
I just feel like he hasn't gotten his moment, and I hope he gets to have it.
I think I'm with you 100% because if you look back, okay, obviously there was a clear nod to when he eliminated Brock. So why couldn't you have done Claymore, have him stumble to the ropes, have Drew run to, instead of this time Brock going over after the Claymore, you have Drew to go the running clothesline, and then Brock basically grabs him and, I don't know, say he has to F5 him out, but flips him over. That would have been, like you were saying, that would have made such a cool tease, but also, okay, there's the switcheroo now. You had him Claymore him out before, but this time it didn't quite get Brock over this time, and then he tried to get him at the last minute. Okay, he dumps him, or he doesn't have to F5 him out of the ring, but, he dumps him over, and there you have it. I think that would have been a lot more suspenseful. I agree.
Yeah, and it also would have given, it wouldn't have just completely destroyed Drew's character. Drew's he's gonna do it again. He's gonna eliminate Brock again, and then boom, he got caught. Brock's not gonna fall for that twice. Boom, throws him out of the ring. It doesn't make Drew lose his credibility. Whereas in this one, it just killed Drew. Who cares about Drew? He got his ass whipped. Without even really much of a fight this time.
It's almost like he lost that superior rub he got from that, 2 Rumbles ago. That was almost like, okay, there's your undoing now, and it's almost like I get what you're saying totally. It's like, give him a little bit of a hope spot there before Brock kind of cuts him off and gets the win, because then there's still a little bit of doubt. Because people holy shit, he's going to clothesline him out, and then boom, it switches. So, I think that definitely would have helped Drew, I think, a little bit more. Not that I think he's going to fall. I think you could strap the rocket ship back on him and whatever you put him on. I think clearly he probably belongs on the Raw program because they're not putting him near Roman on the SmackDown unless they're going to do it after WrestleMania. But the guy clearly needs to be in the title hunt because he's just a beast himself,
He does, and honestly, the fans want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre in a big event. Hopefully SummerSlam. Fingers crossed. Maybe we'll see it at SummerSlam.
I think he's built himself up, into just such a huge star that you got to keep him up near there. I think they've done a good job up to the point where he got to SmackDown. You think, okay, now he'll be in the mix. But I think with Roman being so dominant, and you're not doing him any favors by keeping him away from him either. So it's you got to get him back at the top of the card because, I think we both can agree that he definitely deserves it. Drew is just incredible, man. He's got the intensity, he's got the size, he's got all the components to have a long run. With a crowd now,
He's still young. Use that youth, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
100%.
a lot of those wrestlers, you're not making new stars. That's very clear. I mean, I guess I take that back. Riddle slowly started to find his way into it. There's a few guys that are kind of starting to shine through and starting to make an impact. But, I mean, it's just, you're never going to have that huge megastar again. Roman Reigns is not nearly at the level of a Steve Austin or a Hulk or a John Cena, or a Rock. He's he's not even nowhere near there, but he's literally their biggest star in the entire business right now.
Yeah, and the business was so much hotter then, too, so it's like not fully his fault because I know they've really got super long reign that he's on in the middle of, no pun intended. That's just insane. Now, like, I don't know if he wins both titles and now he has a reign himself going after WrestleMania as the unified champion, or do you have Brock do it and then you have Roman beat him for the unified? I think it's really what's going to, that's the next logical step for him. So now he's established that dominant reign as Universal Champion. If you're going to end any brand split or put Roman on both shows, then he's got to somehow, even if it's not Mania, it'll be shortly after, then he'll get them both back. Then he's going to have to be a unified champion, I think.
Absolutely.
To keep
that's
going.
The only thing, because he's been so dominant. There's no one credible except Brock Lesnar. He's the only credible guy to beat him.
Exactly.
And so, if Roman Reigns does win at WrestleMania and become the unified champion, you've got to build somebody up to face him.
Yeah, where do you go from there?
Yeah, where do you go? Exactly.
You'd have to go to Drew.
Who's on his level.
Yeah, you'd have to go to Drew.
Can't beat him, nobody can.
Yeah. Exactly. You'd have to go to Drew, and then you'd have to go for the goal of making Drew. And if you're not going to do that, you might as well have Reigns. Clearly, I think they want to have Reigns so long of a reign that he eventually would face The Rock. But, now they don't have any timeline of that potentially happening, if at all. So now you're working towards what then? You're going to have to build another star because Roman's not going to be around forever. So it's like, what are you going to do with this? So it's like, do you put Brock over then finally and now you put Roman on the chase? Do you turn Roman at some point? So now they made a conscious effort at this as he was getting sympathy with Seth as the heel. You made a conscious effort to flip the script and then made him even more unlikable by screwing over Brock. So you're doubling down as a heel right now. So, you're basically you got to be building for a chase. And if it's not Lesnar, who's going to chase him after he wins both belts if that happens,
Yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, the road to WrestleMania season is on. We are full gear, and I'm personally looking forward to the Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
We'll see if my prediction comes true. If Brock wins, we'll have a champion versus champion. Be kind of shitty for Bobby Lashley. It's the most logical sense if you think about it.
And he does have a victory over Brock. You can't take that away from him. He won the first matchup, right?
That's absolutely right. And that's the whole thing is, Bobby can still, lose or get pinned or whatever. He doesn't have to lose to Brock. He can still drop the title and look strong in this.
Yeah. So, we'll definitely look forward to that for sure. And I know we got a couple shows in between that. So if we can get you back on again, we'll get you some predictions for that show as we get closer to that and the card gets fleshed out too, Rock.
Absolutely. Looking very much forward to it. Yes. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
You bet.
I really appreciate it.
Definitely appreciate you taking the time, Rock, to come on there and talk a little Royal Rumble recap with us. And obviously next time we have you on, Coach JC will be back. And we want to wrap up this Royal Rumble recap show. Thanking you, especially Ramrock. And how can fans find you on social media? And what do you want to plug here before we wrap it up?
Everybody can follow me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I just got a TikTok account now, so you guys can follow me on all forms of social media. I've got my own shirts, and so definitely all listeners, please buy a Ramrock shirt. Follow me on social media to get your Ramrock shirt, and come see SCW. We are going to be live February 19th in the Sun Studios of Tempe, Arizona. I have a big match coming up, so please come out. Please support indie wrestling.
Yes, definitely, wherever you're at. And if you follow the Ramrock on social media, he posts a lot of cool videos, and he'll post a lot of footage of those events, too, where you can support him. And you could definitely support him, like you said, for buying that shirt. And I'll try to see if I can get a picture of his shirt up there on our video portion of this, obviously. And, for sure, if you're in Arizona fans, definitely he will have all the details, and and in local wrestling. He's all over the state of Arizona, folks. So if you're one of our great Me Podcasts You Listen fans in Arizona, the Ramrock is a professional wrestler in the Phoenix, Arizona area and all around the state of Arizona. So definitely follow him, and you'll be able to follow where he's going to be next.
Yep. Thank you again. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to talking about Elimination Chamber predictions.
100%. So, yes, for the Ramrock, I am MC Brown for Me Podcast You Listen. Want to thank you guys all for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next show.
Good night.